Thank you very much for being here today. I think everyone was pretty excited to have the chance to have you here today. What motivated you of being part of the 17th edition of BRAFA? Well, good morning, everybody. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here today and to be able to celebrate this amazing event of 70 years of an art fair. And being an artist and being Portuguese, I've been through all the art fairs in the world, but I have to say this one is really special because it's really chic and it's really an art fair that makes connections between different periods of art. And that's really interesting because normally art fairs are specifically from contemporary art. And from my work and my experience in the world, I love collaborations with brands, with time, with palaces, like Versailles and now Palacio Lidia that I'm going to do next month in Spain. So I like to travel in time. And this is an art fair where you can have different things, as Tobias said, from different periods and different aspects of art. And then I think that's very enriching and very, you can compare and you can add time to the equation. And being a contemporary artist, it's really important to be able to dialogue with different periods of the art world. The Valkyries are a body of work within my pieces that I've been developing for more than 20 years. And these ones came out of the collaboration I did with Dior last year. And so they are made with fabrics from the Dior collection. And the truth is I've been doing these big works for different museums, different locations, and all of them are named after these important women and women that were forgotten in a way from their local history. And so the pieces that I'm bringing here were pieces done last year, but they are not as big as the other ones. So the main piece that I showed in the défilé of Dior is much bigger than these ones, but these ones were presented in different pop-up shops of Dior throughout the world. So you're going to see them, they are related, and in the Norwegian mythology, the Valkyries are these goddesses that fly over the battlefield and save the brave warriors. But they have a condition, they have to work for Valhalla. And here, I'm saving people from the art world, and they have to work for the art world. So it's a relationship of, bringing alive these female figures that embody and make an homage to important women of their history, of the places that they've been, of their countries. Well, first of all, I analyze the space and I do a dialogue between the shape of the Valkyrie and the space. All of them are suspended because they look like if they're flying, because in the Norwegian mythology, these are flying goddesses. And so when I make them for a specific space and I design them on spot. And then I come to my studio, I make a drawing with the architectural department, and I have to explain my studio. We are 60 people, so we have architects, engineers, a lot of people of embroidery, so everything is done by hand, and it's not an industrial process, it's a crafts process. So everything you're going to see was embroidered, was knitted, was sewed by hand, so it's a lot of hours of work. And then when I do the drawing with my architectural team, then we present to the client. If they accept, we have the money. If the money comes, we have a contract, and then we start working with the ateliers. And I have ateliers of sewing, of knitting, of embroidery. So many people do work in these projects, and they take at least 3 to 4 months to make one. I think that Wagner was a composer with scale. And when you listen to da 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 da, it's big. So I said, I'm going to do a female version of Wagner. Okay? So they could not be small, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So these pieces, they create a dialogue with the architecture. They're not imposing themselves, they're not just filling an empty space, but they are creating a dialogue with the environment. And so they are suspended, they are very light because they are inflatables inside, so they're not very heavy, but they look as if they were very big. And the idea is to show that through female aspects like, textiles, knitting, you can achieve a big dimension and you can be powerful, although it's very light, okay? So that's to answer your question regarding, Wagner and, the military aspect of Wagner, which I love, but at the same time I want to make it more, soft Wagner version like that, okay? Well, I was born in Paris, but I'm a Portuguese artist, and I'm a Portuguese person also. But actually, I feel as a European artist, and I travel throughout the world with a common culture. And it's interesting when I travel through, China and Brazil and other countries with our Europeans, and how I can communicate, bringing our cultures, our traditions, and our ways of being, because the Valkyries are a Norwegian tradition, and they're not Portuguese, but anyway, there's a very resemblance to a lot of other things that we hear from our culture. So, in a way, I'm able to travel so many places because of that European culture. It's good because, art doesn't have a language, doesn't have a translation, so either it speaks to the people or it doesn't. But it's also important to have a criticism and a humoristic way to look into the world. And being a woman and being from Portugal, I'm very exotic because I'm more exotic than any Chinese artist because they're more common than we are. But the truth is, when I travel and people really think, oh my God, why you made a shoe out of pots, or why you made a chandelier with tampons, and everybody asks questions, thinks about it. So there's a conceptual aspect to my work and a criticism, but also there's a joy and a beauty into it. So I'm for beauty and for harmony, and I think that beauty brings harmony and harmony brings peace. So my purpose is that people feel happy when they see my work, and in a way makes them think about other aspects of the domestic life. And that's interesting because I can travel with my work without having to translate it, although people can always relate to it. So it's really interesting. In Japan, I made some candle holders, and I've been looking at beautiful ones here in silver. And I was, with a group of French people and Germans and everything. And then the Japanese asked me, what is this object? I said, well, it's a candle holder. They said, well, we don't have candle holders in Japan. I was like, oh my God. So some objects change. And actually how, certain objects don't exist, but nobody would ask me that in Europe, okay? So it's interesting to see how we share a common culture and how we feel at ease with it, and how when you move around, you have to adapt and communicate with different cultures. And that's, very enriching for me. I love it.